All right, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. We now have a tornado warning for a thunderstorm north of Winfield, northwest of Mount Pleasant, moving towards Wilkinson, Anona, Avery, Lydia, maybe DeKalb here in northeast Texas. These storms we were worried about all afternoon across portions of northeast Texas that were behaving until I said the quiet word and ended the stream 30 minutes ago. Unfortunately, now they have evolved. We're also watching additional storms developing now south of Tyler and even further south than that. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is going to be a tornado warning. This is going to be for a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado about 8 miles northwest of Mount Pleasant, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. This tornado warning is for western Bowie, eastern Franklin, northwestern Morris, southeastern Red River, into northern Titus counties. This is for a severe storm capable of producing a tornado about 8 to 9 miles northwest of Mount Pleasant, moving northeast at 35. This tornado warning includes Mount Pleasant, Wilkerson, Winfield, Anona, Harts Bluff, and Lydia. So again, this is a tornado warning now for western Bowie, eastern Franklin, northwestern Morris, southeastern Red River, and northern Titus County in northeast Texas. So let's talk about who's in, who's out. This tornado warning does not include Talco, does not include Bogota, does not include Clarksville, does not include New Boston. Mount Pleasant, this is going to stay northwest of you. Mount Vernon, it's already northeast of you. Let's switch over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. Let's get set up here on the Shreveport radar site. We want to look at the closest radar so we have the best view. Now, the storm north of White House, southeast of Tyler, spinning too. That may need a warning at some point. But again, this is going to be a tornado warning now. Northeast of Winfield, this storm will be crossing Highway 271 between Talco and Mount Pleasant. So we don't want anyone traveling on 271 right now between Mount Pleasant and Talco, as we have a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. A couple other things to note. It is pretty much sunset. It's almost now. So we're going to be getting dark here pretty quick, meaning it's going to be even more difficult to see these than it otherwise may have been. So again, tornado warning for this supercell northeast of Winfield, northwest of Mount Pleasant, moving northeast at 35. Not going to be an issue for I-30. It's going to stay north of the interstate, and this is going to be a storm capable of continuing to produce tornadoes as it moves northeast. We note a confirmed tornado now near Idabel, Oklahoma. Switch over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. Oh, sweet mama May. Yeah, we got a big old tornado down here approaching Highway 259 between Broken Bow and Idabel. These storms south of Red River in the same environment. So, this storm southeast side of Tyler, New Chapel Hill, is showing indications of low-level rotation, and we're going to need to carefully monitor it as it continues moving north-northeast. This storm, if it continues to intensify, may become tornadic. So Winona, Hawkins, Big Sandy, heads up. Keep an eye on this storm that is currently near the southeast sides of Tyler as it moves north-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. All right, let me make sure we've got everything I need on here. Yes, we do. All right, so let me, I guess, make sure we've got this stream on the app and website. Would help. And again, for most of the afternoon, I've been talking about how we were lucky that things have been calm, quiet, collected. And then, unfortunately, along the confluence line out here in East Texas, these storms finally got themselves going, and it didn't take long for them to begin going tornadic. So that is why we are back. At least I got to take a 30-minute break, but apparently that was all these storms needed. Go figure. So again, this is going to be a tornado warning northeast of Winona. Northeast of Winfield. Circulation's going to be crossing Highway 271. About 5 miles southeast of Talco. About 5 miles northwest of the 271-419 split, northwest of Mount Pleasant. Winfield, you're clear. Mount Vernon, you're clear. Mount Pleasant, you're clear. Wilkinson, you're not clear. You need to be in a safe place. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And again, we're going to be here as long as we have tornado warnings, and we do have a tornado warning for this thunderstorm. Northeast of Mount Vernon, northwest of Mount Pleasant, moving northeast. You can see on the which way the wind's blowing mode, we do have strong low-level rotation approaching Highway 271. Let me see if we can't get some roads on here for y'all. Again, this 271 coming up to County Road 1475, 1550. Y'all need to be in a safe place. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Again, the potential for a tornado crossing Highway 271 right now, about 5 miles northwest of the 271 419 split, about 5 to 6 miles southeast of Talco. From there, this is going to be moving northeast towards Wilkinson, Lydia, Avery, Anona. Is probably going to cross 82 around Avery as it continues moving northeast. So Avery, get ready. You're going to probably have an issue with this in the next 30 minutes. You can see tornado down over Highway 3/259. Unfortunately, very near Broken Bow. That's a very strong indication of a tornado in progress northeast of Idabel, just south of Broken Bow. Those of you in Broken Bow, Oklahoma, need to be in a safe place. That's lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We are seeing increasing low-level rotation with this thunderstorm near the east sides of Tyler and New Chapel Hill. No tornado warning at this point, but that could change pretty quickly as that thunderstorm also continues to attempt to become better organized. Need to make sure our live scroll is working. I don't know if it is on here. I think it is. Okay. So again, we're here because we have a tornado warning now for a thunderstorm near Highway 271, about 6 miles southeast of Talco, moving northeast at, they probably got it moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. So we've got a tornado warning that does not include the city of Mount Pleasant. Winfield, you're clear. Mount Vernon, you're clear. Talco, this is going to stay just southeast of y'all. This is staying northwest of Mount Pleasant. This will stay northwest of Argo. Those of you in Wilkinson, Lydia, Anona to Avery to just southwest of DeKalb. Heads up. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. This thunderstorm could also have hail and strong straight line winds. We have a confirmed tornado just south of Broken Bow. And we're also monitoring for indications of rotation with these storms developing farther southwest across East Texas. You see these little beams trying to get going? Most of them are still struggle busing, which is good. That's what we want. We don't want more beans becoming tornadic and organized. But you can see once they do start becoming organized, they start spinning like a top pretty darn quick. The only storm in Texas that has managed to actually do something about it is this storm northwest of Mount Pleasant. It seems to be that these storms, the closer they get to the Red River in southeastern Oklahoma, the more robust they become. I don't know why, but that's been the clear indication all day. Back through the afternoon, really, we've had storms moving north, and once they get into Oklahoma, they start dropping tornadoes. So clearly there's a precedent here with that. So we're going to have to watch these cells farther south that are on I-20 right now as they continue moving north-northeast in an environment favorable for tornado genesis and tornadic activity along with severe weather. So we're here because we have a tornado warning until 5:45 for this storm approaching County Road 1905. It is now northeast of 271. 271 between Mount Pleasant and Talco, you're clear. If we did have a tornado down when the storm crossed 271, we're probably going to have trees down on 271. We have not had any ground truth at this point that we have a tornado in progress, which is always good news. I mean, better than the alternative. But at the same time, we need folks to treat this seriously and to be in a safe place. That'll be the lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Hard sole shoes, if you got them handy, and a helmet. Not the worst idea. We don't want folks trying to ride this out in a vehicle, any mobile homes, etc., especially because mobile homes don't do well in tornadoes. And we're also concerned about trees falling on vehicles out and about. Plenty of trees, and those will come down easy without any sort of issue in even weak tornadoes. All right, what else do we got going on here? And again, this, besides the severe thunderstorm over the east sides of Tyler, which at this point is less organized than this other storm, thankfully. We have no other severe weather ongoing in the state. We are going to have a line of storms fire back on 35 in a couple hours with a cold front. Some of those storms are going to be strong with hail, damaging winds, maybe a spin-up tornado. But for the tornado threat specifically, we're more concerned about these storms out by their lonesome across the Arklatex, northeast Texas. You can see we've got a storm up here near Broken Bow. That thing's got a couplet, and that thing's spinning quite intensely, too. No tornado debris signature, but it doesn't take a weather weenie to see bright green, bright wet red. Wow, the speech impediment came out. Equals SpaghettiOs sauce. We've got strong rotation with this storm coming up on County Road 1905, about 5 miles southeast of Talco. It's going to be moving northeast towards Wilkinson, Lydia, Avery, and Anona. Based on the current trajectory, this should stay west of DeKalb. We've got a little bit of a de-aliasing issue here. I don't think that's a true tornado debris signature. I think we've just got a bit of de-aliasing. That's just a fancy way of saying the radar beam and software are messing up a bit. So, all right, make sure we've got the coverage on here. We probably do, which means an app notification should be going out. Maybe we don't. Well, there's an easy way to fix that. Fortunately, I'll just take care of that real quick. Do 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 do. Again, let me zoom out. Let me switch and just show you what's going on statewide. I'm going to turn the satellite off because it's night time, and well, that's not as cute when it's night time. We'll switch over to that. I'm going to press that. Let's knock this back to this. There we go. You can see we've got snow in the northwestern Texas Panhandle. A few storms around Amarillo. One actually had a funnel cloud earlier that storm chaser Blake Brown captured. That's cold core stuff. And then you can see these storms across East Texas are attempting to organize further. Watching the storm now approaching Owentown. Watching the tornado-warned storm now about halfway between Talco and Wilkinson. About 4 miles to 5 miles southeast of Talco. About 3 miles west of Wilkinson, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. And these storms generally moving northeast to 35 miles an hour. Looks like severe weather threat for the DFW Metroplex has mostly come to an end. You can see plenty of flash flooding, though. Still some storms, but it looks like main line should fire just southeast of DFW once it fires in the next couple of hours. And once we calm down a little bit, I'll show you all the high-res rapid refresh model for a bit later this evening. You can see the Weather Service, Weather Service Shreveport does have a tornado warning on this storm. It's kind of in the hazy area here, but we've got winds moving away from the radar at about 50 miles an hour. We've got winds moving towards the radar, probably about 10, 15. So we've got about a 60 to 65 mile per hour circulation here. No indications of a tornado debris signature. If I had to say, the circulation has downtrended a bit over the last 10 minutes, which is good. But given the history that the storm up near Broken Bow just dropped a tornado near Idabel not long ago, we're definitely going to keep a watchful eye on these storms as they continue to move northeast. See the rotation there? And again, this is crossed over 1905, moving towards County Road 1915, continuing to move north-northeast. This is going to be moving generally towards Highway 82 from Monona to Avery, where it probably wouldn't be the best idea to be traveling once the storm crosses that highway. You're going to have strong winds, heavy rain, maybe some small hail, and the potential for a tornado. So heads up, go ahead and put a whoops tracker on that. See Avery about 5:45, Anona about 5:45. So Highway 82 between Anona and Avery at about 5:45 is when this storm with a possible tornado may cross over 82. Back south, we're watching a small storm near Winona. Did I say Winona? Just to be clear, Anona and Avery. Okay. We'll go down to Winona. Boy, that's a confusing switch. I mean, yes, this storm is rotating as well. We've got winds moving towards the radar in Shreveport at about 30. Stop it. We've got winds moving away at about 40. So, yeah, we're going to have to watch it carefully. This storm is definitely in rotation. If it gets much stronger, we may see the Weather Service elect to put a tornado warning on that. But for now, we have a single tornado warning, and that's going to be for this storm. Now, east of Talco, just west of Wilkinson, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour towards Anona and Avery. Y'all are going to want to be in a safe place up there. That'll be lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Back over to the radar we go. You can see stronger now. We'll press some buttons. We got winds moving away from the radar now at 64 miles an hour. Winds moving towards it about 20. So, yeah, we bumped that up to 80 mile an hour gate to gate shear. So that's a little stronger. Circulation on a bit of an uptick there. We'll get a new scan in just a moment. And you can see that new scan. Let's see what the latest is there. We got winds moving away at about 64. Winds moving towards the radar, probably about 15 to 20. So again, about 80 mile an hour shear. With this circulation, can't rule out a tornado there. It's going to be crossing over. Put some more roads on here, if I can. You got County Road 1915 there. This is moving up towards County Road 4603, 4615. And then once you're southwest of Avery, we're going to be dealing with County Road 4450. County Road 4405, Garland Chapel Road, County Road 4429, County Road 4425, I'm just putting a few on here. I know it's a ruralish area, but for folks out here, get you at least some reference. Oh, excuse me, more caffeine. We'll go back over to the how hard it's raining mode. You can see this is not your classic looking supercell. It's a pretty small looking shower storm, but in the presence of high wind shear, it's enough to pose a threat for at least a brief tornado. We've had no reports of tornadoes out of this so far. Storms earlier have produced wind damage across portions of eastern North Texas, so we know these storms are mixing down plenty of wind. And again, this is a tornado warning until 5:45 p.m. That does include Avery and Annona. Talco, you're clear. Mount Pleasant, you're clear. Mount Vernon, you're clear. That circulation is intensifying and becoming stronger. Winds now moving away, still about 63 miles an hour, but we're seeing stronger inbounds up to 26. So we've got what, about, I can't math. I can math, I'm just lazy. We're about 90 mile an hour shear now. So again, the possibility that this is trying to put a tornado down is increasing, which means those of you east, northeast of Talco, south of Annona, southwest of Avery, Wilkinson, Lydia, you need to be in a safe place. Sturdy site-built structure, lowest floor, center room, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Hard sole shoes and a helmet. No vehicles, no mobile homes. You get a call? Have fun. All right, so those of you, Avery, Annona, Lydia, Wilkinson, east of Talco. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Back to the how or which way the wind's blowing mode, you can see bright green, bright red. Circulation now about 90 miles per hour. We'll get a scan update in just a second. No tornado debris signature at this point. I'll show you. No solid signature, at least. We're going to get a velocity scan in just a second. You'll see that data pass through. There you go. You can see the latest velocity. Circulation continuing to move north-northeast. We'll get a wind reading on that in just a moment. County road. Hold on. Stop it. Bad, David. Stop pressing buttons. All right, let's press some buttons. Still, 66 miles an hour moving away from the radar. We got winds moving towards the radar about 20, so about 85 mile an hour shear. Certainly capable of producing a tornado as this moves towards Avery and Annona. County Road 4425, County Road 4405, Garland Chapel Road, County Road 4450, 4429. Want you to be in a safe place. That'll be the lowest floor. Center room. Away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And we have a tornado watch that has been issued until midnight. Well, that was impressively quick, Jason. Tornado watch until midnight for the Arklatex, Northeast Texas. So we're going to be at it for a while, it looks like. Okay, here's a tornado warning update. And again, this circulation is pretty strong. All right, let's read this update. At 5:26 p.m., a severe storm capable of producing a tornado is located near Box Elder, moving northeast at 35. This tornado warning includes Box Elder, Wilkerson, Annona, Lydia, Harts Bluff, Avery. I'm going to put you in that too because it's my video and I can. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Hard sole shoes, grab a helmet. No travel on 82 is recommended at this point. Let's just say between Anona and DeKalb, including the city of Avery. We don't want folks getting thrown into a tree if there is a tornado down when this crosses 82. Trust me, not fun. So, lowest floor, center room, away from windows, yada, yada, yada. Okay, back over to the How Hard at Training mode. You can see this is a cellular storm. It's not our classic looking supercell, but you can almost tell this thing's spinning just by the shape of it. How it's kind of doing like that. Yeah, we have a lot of wind shear in place, so that's just an indicator of a strongly rotating cell. The storm near Winona back northeast of Tyler, that's looking much weaker, so that is good. The only spinny, doom issue we're dealing with in the state right now is this storm coming up on Highway 82 from Anona to Avery. Which means y'all in Avery to Anona south. The Keys Ranch Airport. Farm Road 911. 44, 46, 35, be in a safe place. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We'll see. Is that the latest velocity scan? Probably. We'll probably get an updated. Well, there you go. Give it a second. It'll update. The little sweepy line of life. But again, we got winds. Here, press that. Moving away from the radar, about 65 miles an hour. We got winds moving towards the radar at about, I'm going to say 25. Am I going to be right? Oh, wow, I was really right. Cool. So about 80 to 90 mile an hour gate-to-gate shear continues. We have not had reports of damage at this point. We have not had reports of a tornado down, but this storm is certainly capable of producing wind damage and or a tornado. Okay, here's what we're going to do really quick. Give me about 60 seconds to run to the little boy's room, and we'll continue this. All right, my apologies. Back. You can stop looking at the ceiling. Maybe it'll even point down at me. So again, this is going to be a tornado warning for Avery, Anona, Lydia, north of Wilkinson. You can see that rotation a little stronger here. Again, we're just going to have to see. We have no ground reports at this point. It's dark now. What you eat? Yeah, I got you. Dog's trying to eat pita chips. So those of you in Avery, Anona, be in a safe place. County Road 4425, 4450, 4429, Garland Chapel Road, 4405, 4235, 4425. If I've mentioned any of your roads in your area that you recognize, that's probably an omen you should be in a safe place, which again is lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Back over to the How Hard It's Raining mode, you can see this storm is approaching Highway 82. Will be crossing 82 in the next 10 minutes near Anona and Avery. The potential for quarter-size hail, strong winds, a tornado,
A new tornado warning has been issued for McCurtain County in Oklahoma, Bowie, and Red River County in Texas.
Boy, I couldn't have timed that any better, huh? All right, it's going to be a new tornado warning for this storm for northwestern Bowie and southeastern Red River counties here in northeast Texas. This is going to cross into McCurtain County in southeastern Oklahoma. At 5:33 p.m., a severe storm capable of producing a tornado was located over Box Elder, moving northeast at 40, so it sped up a wee bit. This tornado warning includes Box Elder, Idabel, Oklahoma, Avery, Anona, Beaver Dams, English, Harris, Good Lake, and Tom. So again, if you're in this tornado warning, which Anona, Avery, guess what? You are. English, up to Harris and Tom, Oklahoma. You need to be in a safe place. That'll be the lowest floor. Center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Hard sole shoes and a helmet, not the worst idea. We don't want folks trying to be looking for this. We don't want folks trying to go see it because it's dark. There's trees. In all likelihood, if it's down, it's wrapped in rain. Back to the velocity mode here. You can see winds moving away at about 66 miles an hour. Winds moving towards the radar at about 20 to 25. So we're still doing about 85 mile an hour winds. Rotational, meaning, yeah, we could get a tornado out of this, but no tornado debris signature, no blue donut of doom. That's good. And we're just watching and waiting. This thing will be crossing Highway 82 between Anona and Avery, close enough to both communities to where we want folks in shelter by 5:45 p.m. It'll then continue moving northeast at about 40 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and put a storm track on it. Now I'm going to do it for the rotation, the area of rotation at about 40. Close enough. Switch back over to the how hard it's raining mode. Again, expected to cross 82 within the next 10 minutes around Anona to Avery. English, about 5:50. This is then going to be crossing Highway 259 at the Red River at about 6 to 6:04 p.m. Hallworth, Oklahoma, about 6:20 p.m. And that'll take it out of the state of Texas. But we're going to have to deal with it for another 25 to 30 minutes, it looks like, as it moves northeast. That velocity is still pretty tight. We're seeing a pretty tight area of rotation right now. By tight, I mean bright green against bright red. We've still got winds moving away from the radar at about 70. Winds moving towards the radar, I'm going to guess about 25, maybe 30. So again, that's up to about 100 mile an hour shear now, and almost looks like two velocity couplets here. If that's not a de-aliasing issue, there could be two circulations here, which we saw with a storm earlier today in Arkansas. But at this point, again, no reports of a tornado down, but the winds aloft are quite strong and certainly indicative that we could have a tornado down. It's after sunset, it's dark. We have trees, we have this thing rain wrapped. In all likelihood, if something's down, we're not going to know about it until we hear about damage later on. And we don't want folks trying to go out and see this because you're probably not going to see anything but rain. So, please be in a safe place if you're in Anona and Avery. This storm, capable of producing a tornado, will be crossing Highway 82 in the next 8 minutes as it moves northeast at 40 miles an hour. We have no other storms in the state capable of producing tornadoes. We have one storm near Hawkins and Big Sandy that has weak rotation, some gusty winds, but that's weakened compared to what it was earlier. So again, you're looking at the which way the winds are blowing in the thunderstorm. We're looking pretty high up here, though. So again, tornadoes, all that, lowest few hundred feet. We're looking at 7,700 feet. So we're looking in the mid-levels. We're not looking where the tornado would be, but this is the closest radar we have. So we do with what we're given. Strong mid-level rotation with this storm as it moves northeast at 40 miles an hour, crossing Highway 82 in the next 7 minutes, moving northeast. After 82, it'll continue moving northeast towards English in eastern portions of Red River County, moving into northwestern DeKalb County, crossing over Highway 259 very near the Red River. Now, you can see almost a hook appendage shape to this now. Definitely still have strong rotation in the mid-levels at least. The question is that extending down to the low levels? And then from there, is it extending into a surface circulation known as a tornado? Storm near Idabel, Oklahoma, about 30 minutes ago did. It had a tornado. You can see we have multiple tornado warnings in southeastern Oklahoma. We have a tornado warning up north or very near Fayetteville, Arkansas, it looks like. But again, we only have one storm in Texas producing severe weather and or tornado, which I guess tornado is severe weather, so. And that's going to be moving northeast. So those of you in Avery and Annona, we'd like you to be in a safe place. Just give us, give us another 10, 15 minutes if you're in either community. Then you can continue on about your evening, unless you have more storms. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Back over to the which way the winds blow mode, you can see, yes, we have strong mid-level rotation, no indications of a blue donut, so no tornado debris signature. But this storm is definitely capable of producing severe weather, including, a tornado. So that's why we're here chatting about it, chatting with y'all, getting you through it. And again, there's no reason to freak out. I mean, if you know about it, you're watching us, you're already in better shape than folks who have no idea what's going on. Again, just give us 10, 15 minutes of your time and go on about your evening. We don't have confirmed reports of a tornado. I don't think we have a big, bad, very bad, mad, whatever you want to call it, tornado. But it's certainly enough that, we could have some strong winds, could have a tornado spin up, and that could knock trees down, damage roofs, etc. Trees fall on buildings, and that could do a lot more than damage a roof. So just give us about 10 minutes of your time if you're in Annona and Avery, and we'll let you go on about your evening like nothing happened. And hopefully nothing will, but you still got to be prepared and take those tornado safety precautions. If you're in a sturdy site-built structure, that's going to be the lowest floor. Center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Hard sole shoes and a helmet. Again, we'll get an update here in just a second as the velocity should update here momentarily, showing you that the circulation is moving northeast towards Highway 82 between Annona and Avery. Both communities, it's going to be close enough to where we want you in shelter. We don't want anybody on 82 from Annona to DeKalb for about another 10, 15 minutes, give or take. After that, we aren't going to want anyone on Highway 259 going up towards the Red River. Latest scan here, you can see the velocity. Winds moving away from the radar about 60 miles an hour. Winds moving towards the radar about 25. So we still got 80 to 90 mile an hour gate-to-gate shear with this thunderstorm. And this is the only thunderstorm we're worried about right now. All the others continue to behave themselves quite nicely. We got heavy rain coming up towards Edom, Tyler, Mineola, Gilmer, Pittsburgh. All this activity is behaving itself. No indications of low-level rotation, and only a few lightning strikes. For what it's worth, this storm near Avery is also only producing a few lightning strikes. So it's dark. You're not going to see anything, and lightning's not going to be of much help. So go ahead, give us 10 minutes, and we'll get you on with your evening. Those of you on Garland Chapel Road, County Road 4405, we want you in a safe place. Those of you on Highway 82, Annona, Avery, we want you in a safe place. West of DeKalb, north of DeKalb, up towards Harris, Hallworth, Bokhoma, and Tom, Oklahoma. So again, this is the activity that is moving northeast. We'll take you back. Let's do this. Since we have a few minutes here, let's take a look at what we've got going on in the state. First off, we got snow near Clayton, New Mexico. We got snow in the northwestern Texas panhandle. Temperatures in the low 30s and snowing. We could have 1 to 2 inches of wet snow around Dalhart tonight, up towards Boise City, Oklahoma, and Clayton. Good rains here in the Panhandle. Y'all need it. We all need it, for that matter. We've got thunderstorms. Paris, east side to DFW, Hillsborough, Gatesville, Burnett. Expect more rapid development by 7 to 8 p.m. Central Time as cold front moves southeast. Severe storm warning for a storm that's near Hawkins. That thing is pretty much dead, so I'm not worried about that. Then we've got this storm near Avery that is capable of producing a quick spin-up tornado and damaging winds. Here is the latest velocity. I'll switch it back to storm relative. And again, you can see winds moving away in pink and red, winds in the green moving towards the radar in Shreveport. So those of you on 82, this will be crossing 82 between Anona and Avery in the next 5 minutes or so. And then it will continue moving northeast towards English, Texas, and Harris, Oklahoma. All right, so while we've got folks here, let's take a statewide view again. We're going to switch and take a gander at the high-res rapid refresh model. And that's just going to give you a sense of the timing for tonight. For what it's worth, here's what the model shows at 7. Developing storms on that cold front back into central Texas. So I'm going to load it from 7 p.m. Let's go all the way through 10 a.m. I'll let that load for just a moment. And you can see we're expecting storms to develop south along that cold front, pretty much into the Edwards Plateau, south central Texas, the Hill Country, the Brazos Valley, East Texas, Northeast Texas. Tonight, let me put the timestamps on there. So it's going to storm. We're going to have a lot more storms. Some of them could be strong to severe with maybe some quarter-size hail, 40 to 60 mile-an-hour winds, maybe a tornado. We're going to have to keep an eye on any storms that develop ahead of the squall line out by their lonesome, especially in East Texas and Northeast Texas, as some of those storms could attempt to become tornadic, like the one near Avery and Anona has. Seeing a significant jump in lightning now with the Avery-Anona storm. We're seeing a significant jump in lightning around English. That could be indicative of a strengthening updraft, which is why I mention it. We're in a situation which is called a high shear, low instability event. So, fall events, the cool season. We're not in May anymore. We don't have storms producing thousands of lightning strikes in an hour. This is a much more tame environment electrically. But those storms that do start chewing off lightning like nuts, it means their updraft is strengthening, so we're able to use it as a intensity factor per se. Rotation now coming up on Highway 82 between Anona and Avery. Not as strong as it was earlier, but still present and capable of producing a brief tornado. We'll see what it does once it gets north of 82. Anona and Avery, give us about 10 minutes, and you should be good to go, especially if you're along south of 82. Then we're going to let folks in northeastern Red River County and northwestern Bowie County into southeastern portions of McCurtain County in Oklahoma to be in a safe place. You can see this is going to stay southeast of Idabel, but could move towards Hayworth. And again, we're going to have plenty of storms in a couple hours. Central Texas, South Central Texas, Waco, Austin, San Antonio, and then those will move into the Brazos Valley later on. So y'all get ready. Y'all are going to have some stormies to deal with. And they're going to probably ramp up pretty quick once over the next 2 hours. All right, let's hit that. We'll hit that. There we go. Merry Christmas to me. Again, this isn't picking up many roads north of 82, so let me just go ahead and try to use Google Maps here. 114, 3345, 911, so 911, 3345. If I'm saying any road, farm roads near you, be in a safe place. 3402, 3317. It'll be moving up towards the Beaver Dam Missionary Baptist Church. It'll be impacting the Tom Bridge, Highway 259 on the Red River. Y'all be in a safe place as this storm moves northeast. Again, here's the latest velocity scan. Circulation over Highway 82. Moving off to the northeast. At about 40 miles an hour. No other severe weather warnings are in effect for the state of Texas. Circulation looking a bit weaker for the moment, but we're also looking at 8,000 to 9,000 feet above the surface, so the storm itself, we're not getting a super great view. But nevertheless, we're going to treat it with respect. Circulation should be near or just north of Highway 82 now. So English up to the Red River on Highway 259 north of DeKalb. You're going to want to be in a safe place for probably another 20 minutes. Avery and Anona, if you're along and south of 82, give us 5 more minutes just to be safe, and y'all will be good to come out. You could have more storms later this evening, though. We note this storm back southeast of Winnsboro. We're starting to see a circulation develop with that. That's southwest of Pittsburgh, southwest of Rocky Mount, east of Winnsboro, approaching Highway 11 near Newsom. We're starting to see a circulation with this thunderstorm. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. We're also seeing a circulation with the thunderstorm southwest of Gilmer again. Both weak at this point, but present enough to me point them out, for me to point them out. Clearly, I'm not able to make basic verbiage, wordage, sentences, so if I start fragmenting, blame the caffeine and just bear with me and make fun of me and, I don't know, bake me apple strudel or something. Okay, so, only storm warning we have right now is a tornado warning for far northeastern Red River, far northwestern Bowie County. That'll be moving into McCurtain County, Oklahoma in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So those of you from English, north of Avery, north of Anona, be in a safe place, lowest floor, center room, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Okay, so those of you in Anona and Avery on Highway 82 and south, you're okay to come out of shelter. This should be north of 82 now. If you're north of 82, up to the Red River, go ahead and be in a safe place. Northeastern Red River County and far northwestern Bowie County. The good news is the circulation is not as intense. Unfortunately, we're seeing new circulations develop with these storms. East of Winnsboro, southwest of Gilmer, we're going to have to keep an eye on. As in, I'm not going to be foolish enough to end this stream again when we lose this first tornado warning, because that's just a surefire way to get more tornado warnings. No, sorry, Bob. I prefer no tornado warnings. You know, a lot of folks ask me, don't you like doing weather coverage? Don't you look forward to it, enjoying it? Sure, but y'all don't realize how exhausting it is. It's just me in this room. And sometimes finding things to say, keeping a regular flow of things, etc. It's pretty tiring. I mean, I've got 2 bright LEDs shining in my face. I've got 8 computer monitors throwing light at me, and, well, obviously behind me it's pretty dark, so I mean, the throat gets sore too, talking so much, but I guess I could just start singing on a regular basis, and that would take care of the throat muscles. If I start doing that, maybe I'll just make a YouTube series out of it. Baldy-in-Chief, Choir Edition. All right. Yeah, that circulation near Newsom is ramping up. Baloney. By Newsom, I mean here on Highway 11, east of Winsboro, west of Rocky Mount and Pittsburgh. We've got a pretty tight circulation here trying to develop. 45 miles an hour away from the radar, about... Come on. What is that, about 20 towards? So again, that might have to get a tornado warning in the next several minutes if that circulation ticks up at all. And then we've got a weak circulation southwest of Gilmer. These are all small showers and storms. It's just we have a lot of wind shear in place, and that is allowing these things to spin like a top. And I guess there's just a little favorable pocket here in northeast Texas that's allowing these to go from rotating aloft to rotating a little lower than we'd like it to be in the atmosphere. Hence, we had spinny, spinny, doom, doom warning, tornado warning. That's what I call it. Those asking why I call it spinny, spinny, doom, doom occasionally, because when you say tornado on some social media platforms, the algorithm is like, that's a no. We shadow ban you. That's why I came up with that somewhat ridiculous terminology. But hey, at the same time, who says I'm not ridiculous in my own right? At 5:54 p.m., a tornado warning continues for northwestern Bowie, northeastern Red River County. I'm tired. At 5:54 p.m., a severe storm capable of producing a tornado was located 10 miles northwest of DeKalb, 14 miles northeast of Box Elder, moving northeast at 40. This storm will be crossing the Red River and moving into Oklahoma around 6:05 p.m. If you're in Avery, you're clear. Anona, you're clear if you're along and south of 82. If you're north of 82 and close to 259, the Red River Bridge into Oklahoma, you're not clear. Y'all should probably be in a safe place, lowest floor, center room, away from windows, as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Circulation does not look as intense aloft. We're looking at probably 9,000 feet, so we're not looking at low levels, but based on this, well, it doesn't scream tornado down, but still, it's strong enough to produce a tornado. And we've been in the behind up in this area before, where you see this purple haze, that's just radar range issues. We've had issues where it looks like dookie on radar, and then we end up getting a picture of a tornado, and we're like, oh, well, great. So we'd recommend y'all stay in a safe place just because we don't want any of that nonsense to happen. So you might as well stay in a safe place, encourage it not to be a spinny, spinny, doom, doom issue, and we can get rid of this in about 10 minutes, give it to Oklahoma, and hopefully continue on with our evening, knowing full well in all likelihood one of these little beans down here southwest of Mount Pleasant, west of Gilmer, is probably going to get just strong enough to encourage a tornado warning at some point. I mean, I hope not. I really do hope not. But whenever I'm about to end coverage, it seems like that is exactly when something happens. If you go back and watch, we might have done hundreds of hours of coverage this spring. I mean, it just happened dozens of times. It's like, come on. So, Avery, Anona, you're clear. You might have more storms later, but you're clear from this one. Harris, Oklahoma, be in a safe place. Tom, Oklahoma, be in a safe place. This will stay southeast of Idabel, south of, it could be an issue for Hayworth over to Bocoma eventually on Highway 3 up in southeastern Oklahoma. And then for what it's worth, we're going to have storms firing along the cold front back in central Texas. In fact, they've started. You can see storms are developing now. On the cold front in the hill country, those will continue to evolve. Some may become strong with hail and gusty winds. locally heavy rain, and that'll become a nearly solid line of storms almost down to Eagle Pass in a couple hours, and then that'll move southeast tonight into tomorrow morning with rain. We like rain. We did not like rain in April when some folks got 30 inches of rain in a week, but we've had summer, so now we'll take rain again, please and thank you. I think it's clear the caffeine is hit. It's the cusp of having too much caffeine and going straight into a migraine, but live life, drink water. Okay, so this storm will be out of Texas up into Oklahoma by about 6:05. After that, we're going to have to watch these little beans out by their happy lonesome across East Texas. Looks like the flash flood warning for Dallas and Collin counties has been extended until 7:30. We'll see if that makes the computer squeal or not. I'm going to clean some of these city labels off. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Let's switch to the statewide radar. We're going to turn the satellite off because it's the middle of the night, kind of. And let's take a look at what's going on. You can see we've got storms developing quickly now as forecast. I like it when that works. In the hill country in central Texas, west of Waco, well west of 35 in central, south central Texas, which means the stormies are going to move into Waco. Temple-bound Round Rock, Georgetown, Austin, New Braunfels, San Antonio over the next 1 to 4 hours, and then it'll continue moving southeast into the Brazos Valley, southeast Texas, the coastal plains, the Golden Triangle, East Texas, the coastal bend, South Texas, tomorrow morning, pretty much. Late tonight, tomorrow morning. Some storms in that line. Gonna have gusty winds, lightning, heavy rain, maybe some small hail. Overall severe weather threat is there, but it's not a spaghetti-o high-end threat in the sense everyone's going to get hail or wind. Hopefully a bunch of y'all get rain, though. You can also see we've got a few scattered showers continuing to develop Brazos Valley, East Texas. Some of those are becoming storms, especially along and north of I-20 in East Texas. We'll have to watch those for indications of rotation. A tornado watch is in effect for northeast Texas and the Arklatex until midnight, specifically for these little beans, especially if they start to become rambunctious and organized. If they evolve into supercells, these beans could go tornadic pretty quickly, which is what we're going to be watching for. Hopefully they don't. Most of the day they didn't. Then we had one try it, and that's the one about to move into Oklahoma. Hopefully these others don't, but at the same time, I'm not foolish enough to say they won't, because one, I'd be lying because I don't know that for sure, and two, well, if I do say that, that's going to encourage them to become problematic. And three, if I say I'm going to end live coverage, it'll happen. That's what happened earlier. I said quiet too many times, and, well, clearly I'm going to be in timeout for that. Okay, so it is, what time is it? 6:01? My usual clock over here is gone. I need a big clock on the wall up here. Note to self. This storm we're watching is skedoodling up towards the Red River. It's crossing the Red River and will soon be out of Texas, which means we will not have any tornado warnings in Texas, which means I could take this opportunity now. We're going to take a look at the high-res rapid refresh model. We're going to press some buttons. We're going to turn that off, and we're going to show y'all what the general expectation is tonight into Tuesday. If you ask nicely, maybe I'll sing it as a melody. All right. So, pretty much, if you're in the southeastern half of the state, you're going to get a line of storms tonight or tomorrow morning with a cold front arriving. That'll bring northwest winds, a couple hours of scattered showers after the main line, and then it's going to clear out and cool down. Some storms will be strong to severe with gusty winds, maybe locally damaging winds, maybe nickel to quarter-size hail. Can't completely rule out a tornado, especially with any storms that develop ahead of the main line. This evening in northeast and east Texas, maybe even parts of the Brazos Valley this evening, we'll see. Most storms so far have behaved themselves, which is nice, but we can't completely rule out one or two little supercells from trying to be mischievous and problematic. But hopefully they don't, because I don't want to do more live coverage. It's exhausting. And I'm pretty sure y'all don't want to deal with tornadoes. See, it's a win-win. Y'all don't deal with tornadoes. We don't do the live coverage. It's a win for everyone, except my content director, who probably would like analytics, but he's just going to have to live. I'm going to get a very angry note from content manager in a minute. All right, so English, you're clear in northeastern Red River County. Avery, Anona, you're clear. This is about to be right on the Red River in northeastern portions of Red River, northwestern Bowie County, moving up into far southeastern McCurtain County, Oklahoma, which will then leave us with nothing, severe weather-wise, for now. We're not going to end the stream, though, because that's just asking for trouble. We are going to, however, take a break, let y'all listen to music, and we'll be back with an update at 6:30. Sooner if needed. It may very well be needed, but I'm just going to say 6:30 because maybe I can go get a quick mile walk in and wakey, eggs and bakey, and wear out some of this caffeine. So again, the storm capable of producing a tornado moving into southeastern Oklahoma, exiting Red River and Bowie County. We have no reports of damage, no reports of a tornado having occurred, which is good. And we're going to have a main line start firing out along and west of I-35 shortly in central Texas. Some of those storms could have damaging winds and hail, heavy rain. All right, we'll be back here at 6:30 p.m. with your next update. If we need to, we'll be back sooner than that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm David Reimer with the Texas Storm Chasers. It is... Well, hello there. It is 6:30. 4th of November. It's a Monday. We've got no severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings in the state of Texas at the moment. You're looking at the big scary yellow box of doom that looks like a certain kind of snow that you should never eat. Is a tornado watch that goes until midnight this evening. This is the Arklatex. Northeast Texas. And again, this...
A new flash flood warning has been issued for Sevier County in Arkansas, McCurtain County in Oklahoma, Red River County in Texas.
Anyway, that was a tornado watch. We have no severe thunderstorms in the state at the moment, which is always a nice thing to have because we'll probably have some before too much longer with developing storms on the cold front back in central Texas and the hill country. Let's take a look at the high-resolution weather model, except it's not model. Let's take a look at the high-res radar. This activity all behaving itself. You know, we got some lightning, we got some heavy rain and gusty winds. All this is moving north-northeast. But again, there's nothing severe with this at the moment, which is always nice. Some heavy rain could cause localized flooding, and we'll keep an eye out in case some of these storms try to go spinny, spinny, doom, doom, and spin up. But the good news is, for the moment, they are not, which makes Baldy a happy Baldy. Back into central Texas we go. Well, actually, let's do north Texas, too. We do have some scattered showers and thunderstorms in the DFW Metroplex. This activity may have small hail, heavy rain that could cause localized flooding, and is moving northeast. So Arlington, y'all got a stormy. Guess what? It's moving northeast at a brisk 45 miles an hour. It's moving up towards DFW Airport because who doesn't like disrupting air traffic in one of the busiest airports in the world? That means more flooding, more flight delays, and yay. That activity is not severe, but it could cause additional localized flooding. Street flooding rises on creeks after the earlier thunderstorms this afternoon. Again, those storms moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. We may have more develop. You can see a line beginning to develop now from near Greenville to Terrell, all the way down to Waco, Troy. And then as we go into the hill country, we have a line of storms beginning to develop, a broken line at least. It's going to be from Burnett, Round Mountain to Johnson City, all the way back towards Boerne. And all this activity, these individual storms are moving northeast. Bit slower down here in the hill country, but guess what? Gonna have a nearly solid line of storms get going here over the next hour or two, and that is gonna push southeast tonight. We'll take a look at the high-res rapid refresh model as soon as I change this magical upper third. The upper third being the title graphic on top of the screen here. Let me press some buttons because I'm not smart enough to actually program something in. One day over the rainbow and through the woods, maybe after Thanksgiving we go. Let's hit some buttons and say ho, ho, ho. So let's go from 7 p.m. through 10 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to load the data and let it go. A little bit of snow in the northwest Texas panhandle too. But for most folks, no snow for you. I feel like I could be a Dr. Seuss rhyming poem at this point. This is the her through the night into tomorrow morning. You can see ho, 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 stormies for all. Southeastern half of the state, at least. Expected storms to develop across portions of North Texas, Northeast Texas, along the cold front, back into Central Texas, the Hill Country, the Edwards Plateau. I'm going to move southeast across the Brazos Valley, South Central Texas, South Texas, the Coastal Bend, the Coastal Plain, Southeast Texas, the Middle and Upper Texas Gulf Coast, the Golden Triangle, the Piney Woods of East Texas and East Texas, tonight into tomorrow morning. Some of these storms could be on the stronger side with gusty winds, some small hail, maybe up to the size of quarters for a few folks, a non-zero threat of a spin-up tornado, and lightning and heavy rain. But that generally goes without saying when we're talking about stormies. Good news is, in terms of tomorrow, we are expecting the highest impact issues, relatively speaking, to be tonight and tomorrow morning. Things should be calming down by the time we open the polls tomorrow, meaning no excuse not to get out and vote. If you haven't already, We'll also have some scattered showers continue eastern third of the state. Tomorrow morning, behind the cold front, northwest winds dropping temperatures, scattered showers for some, but then will be mostly dry for the state across most areas by lunchtime. Clearing skies, cooling temperatures, northwest winds. Overall, pretty nice day shaping up tomorrow and Wednesday before we get more storms on Thursday and Friday. So, with that being said, no severe weather ongoing in the state right now. We'll probably have some severe weather warnings for these storms developing on the cold front, maybe some pocket change size hail and gusty winds. We'll keep an eye out on these storms in East Texas in case they try to organize at all and develop areas of rotation. But at this point, we are not seeing anything of concern in that department. And yes, a bit of snow in the northwestern Texas panhandle, as well as temperatures cool below freezing in places like Dalhart. Could get a wet, slushy snow tonight. Lucky y'all. All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have our next update at 7 p.m. sooner if necessary, because if I end this stream and say bye-bye, there will be mischief. So we're just going to do break-ins about every 30 minutes. And if we have issues, we'll come back a lot sooner than that. So enjoy the music. We'll be here. We'll keep you updated. I'm Baldy-in-Chief. Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. Clearly, the brain fog has set in. It might be din-din time. We'll see you again at 7 p.m. sooner if necessary.
Autumn rain falling on the rooftops, calling birds of summer back south to wander. It's a chance to start again on the wing of remembering. All the plans that we made in summer, they are shining memories, calling to each other. Trouble disappear in your atmosphere. Falling leaves, the horizon's on fire below. I hold on tightly to all that I've come to know. How we feel in the stillness, something special in the spell of the night. It's elemental, wild world in its perfect mess. It's the little things that make it all worth it. That make it all worth it. Winter chill and the snow is falling on the cedar still, and the freezing waters in an ethereal glow. The warmth of my coat. World of memories, all in perfect design. I hold on tightly to all that I've come to find. How
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Blanco and Kendall County in Texas.
All right, good evening. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer, coming up to 7 p.m., still 7 p.m. All right, so we've got thunderstorms developing along the leading edge and slightly behind the leading edge of a cold front now. North Texas, Central Texas, into the hill country. Storms developing all the way south now to west of San Antonio to Boerne, up towards Johnson City and Henley, Marble Falls, Burnett to Bertram, up to Killeen, Copperas Cove, Harker Heights, Waco, Waxahachie. This activity is mostly along or behind the leading edge of the cold front, meaning it is undercut, meaning we're not really too concerned about a tornado threat with most of this activity. The potential for strong winds, heavy rain, maybe some small hail up to the size of quarters. Individual storms are going to be moving north-northeast. The line itself is going to be moving east-southeast. And we're expecting a nearly solid line of storms to get going here in the next 2 hours. Those are going to move southeast overnight into Tuesday morning, pretty much either until they're in the Gulf of Mexico or Louisiana and Arkansas. I mean, if you're southeast of this line, you have at least a 50-50 shot, if not higher chance, of getting some rain overnight into tomorrow morning as Crashy the cold front comes on in. We had a tornado warning earlier in northeast Texas, nothing since then, and that activity remains pretty disorganized, which is good. Not seeing any indications of strong low-level rotation or even anything that is more threatening than a few lightning strikes, honestly. Some gusty winds probably getting mixed down in moderate to heavy rain. And that activity is also going to keep moving northeast overnight, and eventually it'll get pushed into Arkansas and Louisiana as the cold front and line of storms comes in from the west. All right, let's take a look at the high-res rapid refresh radar. So let me press some buttons here. We're going to take a look at this, give you all a sense of timing of things overnight. Clear that out. Press some buttons. We're going to load this from 8 p.m. through 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. As this loads and we take a look out, it is noteworthy. We are expecting some snow in the northwestern Texas panhandle tonight. Places like Dalhart up into Boise City, Oklahoma. Expecting snow. Could have 1 to 2 inches of snow on grassy surfaces. Northwestern panhandle, rest of the panhandle, some rain tonight. Let me actually put the timing on here. Again, you can see we are expecting storms to form into a line and move southeast this evening, tomorrow morning, across really the southeastern third to the southeastern half of the state. That means places like Tyler, Texarkana, Nacogdoches, Bryan, College Station, Houston, Beaumont, Lake Jackson, Victoria, Corpus Christi, McAllen, Brownsville, Laredo, San Antonio, New Braunfels, Austin, Georgetown, Round Rock. You're probably going to be getting some storms overnight into tomorrow morning as the cold front moves southeast. Some of these storms could be strong, maybe even severe, with gusty winds, maybe some nickel to quarter size hail. Can't completely rule out a spin-up tornado. The overall tornado threat overnight will be low. Not zero, but low. So with that being said, we're doing pretty well right now. We'll probably have severe thunderstorm warnings at times overnight. We may even see a severe thunderstorm watch issued for portions of central Texas, the Brazos Valley. And good news is, for most folks, we're going to see rain and storms end by lunchtime tomorrow, if not sooner, meaning weather should be good to go if you're planning to head out and vote. We'll see cooler temperatures, northwest winds behind the round of storms, as it's also a cold front. So that'll lead us into a mostly quiet Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, and Wednesday, with additional thunderstorms and maybe some snow returning to Texas Thursday and Friday. So we'll keep an eye on things here at the Texas Storm Chasers, but without the imminent need of severe weather coverage because things are behaving, we're going to go ahead and move y'all on over to the 24/7 weather stream where y'all can keep an eye on the sky while also enjoying some music. So we'll be back if we need to do severe weather coverage. Hopefully we won't. Thanks for tuning in this evening. We'll keep an eye on things. Y'all have a good one. God bless.